YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back, and our in-season NFL content is back. The NFL season's finally here. I got power rankings today, which we'll update every Tuesday afternoon. Love these power rankings. They're definitely different than any that you see out there. If your team gets hot, they start winning, they're going up. They lose, they go down. It's as simple as that. I don't keep the rankings the same based on how I think teams will be at the end of the year. So I love these power rankings. Weekly picks every Tuesday night. Score predictions every Wednesday afternoon, and a lot more. You guys know the drill. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications on. We got you covered for the NFL season. And follow our Twitter. Very, very important. Link down below for that. If you want to get an advantage over your sports book, make sure you download the app BetQL. There's also a website. I'm kind of wishing I was signed up there before college football week 1 last week, because they were dead on there. They got everything. I mean, they tell you straight up who you should bet on. Best bets. They were very accurate last week for college football. They got who the professionals are betting on, so who the public is betting on. You know, across the board, you can see who really the best bets are. They got spreads, they got money line, they got player prop bets, all that for halves too. I mean, literally anything you can think of, they got it. Updates with injuries, breaking news like that. You kind of customize the dashboard too. It's very, very cool, very unique. Definitely the best app out there to if you're a bettor, if you wanna make your bets, correct, accurate. So the analytics are off the chart there. So definitely go check it out. There's links. I mean, it's all over your screen right now. There's links everywhere. And if you want all the info, those links down in the description. Make sure you use code GOAT for that 25% off. That'll be very important. But again, down in the description to check more out there. It's definitely worth checking into. So here is our Twitter. Like I mentioned, NFL Picks League. This is free to join, and this will be involved with our weekly picks videos. The leaderboards will show who's at the top, so you get shout-outs. We're trying to give away merch throughout the year. It's a lot of fun, so you're definitely going to regret not joining that. You have to follow our Twitter to do that, and there's constant NFL updates during games, news, everything. We got you. To the power rankings. I'm going to start with the Lions at 32 now, so a little bold, maybe not going with the Texans, who, no more spoilers. They're next, but yeah, I think these teams, I think most people have these two teams at the bottom. Both of them are still going through adjustments. The Texans got pretty good depth, though. They got pretty good depth. That's a good thing about the Texans. They got a number of guys that can step in and play for them. So, there's really no glaring weak spot. There's just a bunch of spots where they can get better. The Lions, they're going through a little bit of adjustment period, and they completely switched defensive schemes. They got kind of some guys that don't really fit it fully, in my opinion. I don't know if they'll be able to have explosive plays down the field. They're kind of relying on DeAndre Swift kind of break and lose, possibly. They do have talent, don't get me wrong, but a lot of young players that need to continue to develop. It's just going to be a couple years, couple off seasons of a process here. So I do have the Lions at 32, the Texans at 31, like we talked about. And then number 30, the Jaguars. So my thoughts on the Jaguars, going into the season kind of have calmed down a little bit. I worry about the offensive line a little bit, worry about the play calling, and the defense I've always worried about for, it's growing, it's getting there. But yeah, so that's kind of the problem. I think they'll score points. They'll probably just give up a lot of points. And there'll probably be weeks where their offense looks a little shaky because that offensive line, or maybe the play calling, Travis Etienne went down. That's not good. They do have the receivers for Trevor Lawrence, and I still like Trevor Lawrence, obviously. But they come in at 30. They play the Texans week 1, so it's a 30 versus 31 matchup. Love how that happened here. And to bring up again that these are just based on right now, the talent right now for these teams, the regular season. This isn't playoff predictions, Super Bowl predictions, Super Bowl odds. It's nothing like that for me here with these power rankings, so keep that in mind as well. 29, I got the Bengals here. You still worry about the offensive line. And you worry about Joe Burrow. He kind of sounded like he was in his own head early training camp. I think he kind of got out of that funk. I'm not really worried about Jamar Chase. I know some people seem to be. We'll see. Kind of just worry about the offensive line, Mixon staying healthy. They have the weapons. They'll have explosive plays. Defensively, I think they'll be hot and cold. I don't like that Trey Waynes is out already. Week 1 against his former team. Don't love that. In other categories, they could be pretty underrated. They have Jesse Bates, one of the best safeties in football. Their pass rush could be a little underrated. I think they'll blitz quite a bit. They're just still developing, and it's a weird team because it's a team where what's the strength? Yeah, they may be able to have some explosive plays, put up some points, but where my worry is is actually more the offense at the same time. The offensive line protecting Burrow, and Burrow after the injury, what's going on with him? I'm not doubting, anybody there, but there are some questions to be answered still, some proving to do. If they win, they'll go up. That's how my power rankings work, 28 will go with the Jets. I think it's another team that will probably show inconsistencies, which will be okay because they're very young. Zach Wilson looked really good in preseason. Will they be able to pound the football in between the tackles a bunch of times, be effective that way? Probably not. They got some sneaky running backs. I think they'll be pretty damn good in the pass game. That's why they can be sneaky. All those receivers out there, just that passing attack. This could be a team that's really good early. Surprisingly, I can see them, because early there really isn't a game plan. Just go out there and play. Whoever's more prepared, more conditioned. Which is always a difference between teams. That's really who's going to win, and the game plan starts to become a factor after 2-3 games under their belt of film as well. So I think the Jets could be sneaky early on. It's a possibility. Defensively, they're going to be well coached, but the lack of pass rush because of injuries mainly is very much concerning. And that kind of goes into their cornerback play too. You worry about the corners. Usually you don't worry about that. The pass rush is good. So, but again, they could be sneaky early on. It could be an explosive offense there. 27 going to go to the Giants. Like the defense, will it be as good as last year? It was way better than expected last year. I think it could be similar. They had some good game plans, like the way they were coached last year. Leonard Williams really picking it up. Dexter Lawrence is going to pick it up this year. I love those guys. Could a young guy like Azeez Ojulari step up for them? Secondary is looking deep, real deep. Offense is what you worry about here. They went out and got all these playmakers to get Saquon Barkley back. And is that going to mean something, though, with Daniel Jones in that offensive line at quarterback? It's tough to fully buy in to Daniel Jones in an offensive line. I buy into everything else around it, so we're going to have to see improvement. Daniel Jones is going to have to make better decisions, especially in the red zone. And the offensive line is going to have to be better. They picked up some guys that are probably depth right away. We'll see if that improves them as the season goes on. Just go out and prove it. That's all I ask here. Fans may complain where their team is, but if they go out and you end up right, they're going to go up in my power rankings. I'm not just going to stick a team in one spot the whole year. So that's why I love these things here. So Giants at 26. 26 to meet Eagles, so division rivals there. Back and forth on them. I love the Eagles' front seven. They're going to win some games from that front seven alone. It's ridiculous. Well, I should say the actual defensive front. The linebackers could be better, but they're going to get that pass rush going. The depth is the rotation's ridiculous as well. They improved kind of in the back portion of the defense. That's good. It's really on Jalen Hurts and the offensive line staying healthy because they have better weapons now. So it's really on that. I really wish we saw Jalen Hurts throughout preseason to see what he's got. He needs to be better as a pocket passer against pressure. That's where he needs to prove to us some things. We know he can run. We know he has arm talent. We know he has that. So, again, they could be a sneaky team because pass rush is so, so important. It's a game changer. The Bucs won the Super Bowl off it and many other things. But so the Eagles could be sneaky. 25, I'm going to go Panthers. Man, there's so many bright spots of the Panthers that I love. It's tough to rank them down at 25. I love the receiver unit. I ranked them 7th best receiver unit in football. Love me some Terrace Marshall, and that's the receiver 3 behind DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. They added some tight ends that I like. They got Christian McCaffrey back. I love that. I worry about the offensive line. I worry about Sam Darnold based on what he's shown us. He could be better in a new system, change of scenery, for sure. Go out and prove it. Win games, you go up. Defensively, I like some of the pieces they have there. You guys know I'm a huge Brian Burns guy. Jeremy Chinn's kind of ahead of schedule. Based on what he did last year. And J.C. Horn is a physical, big-time corner. What I'm looking forward to is seeing how it unfolds as they go from more of a cover 3 scheme to, and they'll run a mixture of things, but to more of a man scheme perhaps. I think zone works better in the NFL. But you do have the pieces like J.C. Horn, but it could affect Jeremy Chinn's game on where he aligned last year. Maybe they could just go back to what they were running last year, and they kind of could just get J.C. Horn adjusted to more of his own corner because he's been man. So I'm just curious to how they'll run things. I'm really looking forward to that, and questions will be answered along the way. It's just really on Sam Darnold and that offensive line. Can they get them going? 24, we're going to go with the Bears. If Justin Fields is starting, even though he's a rookie, I'd feel a little better about them, obviously, because they're more of like a versatile offense with Justin Fields, I guess, because of his legs, his throw on the run ability, just so much talent. I if he did play, he would have mistakes. Like rookies do. but they're going to go Andy Dalton. It kind of feels like that same old bland Bears offense. Though they should be pretty effective running the ball because they got a pretty good running back group. Deep, actually. I know Cohen's going to miss some time, but Montgomery ran well late last year. In the interior offensive line, I like. Now, the tackles, injury-wise, and who's out there, that's what's looking pretty rough. Factor in that with Dalton. Affects the passing game, even though I do like their weapons, especially their top 2 receivers there, and their tight ends are pretty solid. Defensively, I think they take a step down. Still a good defense, don't get me wrong. They're going to need Robert Quinn to step up, off the edge for sure to kind of get the other guys going even more because they're very talented. Guys like Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks. Hicks maybe not happy with his contract, so we'll see how that affects him. I don't really think much at all. But we'll see how the secondary goes without Fuller. Jalen Johnson was a phenomenal rookie last year, but now he's got more responsibilities there. And, without Fuller, that could be tough for the cornerback unit. But I still think Jalen Johnson's fantastic. 23, I'm going to go the Falcons. Wish we saw more of their guys in preseason. We could see some rust right away. It's weird, though. Maybe a tough game plan for teams. You think Arthur Smith's coming in. They're going to run the football to open up the pass. But I'd say not so fast. They got Matt Ryan. They got Calvin Ridley. They got Kyle Pitts. This still should be a pass-first team. Mike Davis is their back. It was good last year, but could you get better there is kind of the question. Offensive line I actually worry about a little bit. When they were making runs to the Super Bowl, that offensive line was one of the best in football. It's a little different now. Young guys are going to have to stay healthy and step up. Defensively, they started to get better at the end of last year. It was weird. They went from worst to pretty damn good looking at last year in general. They get a better defensive coordinator in my mind. Dan Quinn's pretty good, but Dean Pease in there is a genius. I think they're still kind of retooling that defense so to kind of fit the change, but some guys will step up. They'll probably be hot and cold defense there. But, yeah, their offensive identity, kind of curious to see what that is. The offensive line, a lot of pressure on them. 22 is going to be the Broncos. A lot of pressure on the quarterback here. Will there be enough big plays? Defensively, it's a very good defense. Got to stay healthy. They'll get pass rush. They'll be able to run the ball, but it's going to be, even right off the bat, against the Giants, the teams might just stack the box and dare them to throw. So we'll see how Teddy does there. In play calling was a little inconsistent last year as well, but I do love this defense so much. So it's a tough team to rank for sure. 21, a division rival, the Raiders. If the Raiders if I was more comfortable with their offensive line, they kind of kept it what they had in the past, it'd be a lot better ranked, for sure. I don't think their offensive line is gonna be bad at all, but I don't think it would be as good as last year. Derek Carr under pressure, is a question there. When he's got a clean pocket, he's very, very good. They have the running back duo. They have the weapons. Defensively, they changed the scheme. They added some players. I don't think it's going to be, week one. There you go. It's all better, all fixed, but it should be better there. It's just, they're one of those teams where it's a little inconsistent. One week they look like, okay, this is a playoff team, and then it seems to be first half of the year versus second half of the year. They always look better first half of the year. Derek Carr always looks better first half of the year. So let's see. Let's go out there and prove some things here, and they can rise up the board here. 20, I'm going to go Cardinals. Start to see how good the teams are in the NFL, the talented teams here, because they're down at 20, and they could realistically be a top 10 team when it's all said and done. Pretty weak in the secondary, especially with Malcolm Butler on retirement there. Budda Baker's got to carry that group. Somebody's got to step up. Byron Murphy could be solid. There could be some growing pains for the inside linebacker group. A lot on J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones to get after the quarterback, which they do. That's what they do best, but really a lot on them staying healthy and getting after it. Defensively, they're going to give up a lot of yards. They're going to give up some chunk plays. They're pretty damn good in the red zone, though. They're very well coached in the red zone, very disciplined. Offensively, last year it was like 1 week it's an elite offense, 1 week it's a bad offense, and that let them down at the end of the year. I think it got pretty predictable as the year went on. It's kind of the same thing, not a lot of change. And then the inconsistency of the poor play calling in crucial situations, will that continue? So that's kind of where my doubt is with them, my questions are with them. But they have the talent. They actually got better at the receiver unit. Kyler Murray, can he take that step up? Was he playing a little, not as well at the end of last year because that shoulder situation? So a lot of questions to be answered. To me, it's an inconsistent team. Same as last year. They're going to look like a top 10, top 5 team 1 week, and then they're going to look like, bottom portion 1 week. So can they get out of that? We'll see how they go this year. A big game against the Titans week 1. 19, I'm going to go Dolphins. Tua's got a lot to prove. That offensive line has a lot to prove. They now have the weapons. The lack of running game hurts them a little bit. I do believe in Tua, though, for sure. Defensively, I like their defense. They definitely need to be better stopping the run, playmaking defense. So it's very hard to repeat being a playmaking, meaning getting your hands on the ball, creating that many turnovers. It's so hard to repeat, almost impossible sometimes. Dolphins have the capabilities of doing that, so let's go out there and do that, and they can shoot up the ranks here. 18's the Vikings. Look like a pretty balanced team overall. They really improved their defense. Defense looks really good on paper. I do not worry about, but one spot they could get a little better, maybe pass rush. Getting after the quarterbacks. It's really just Daniil Hunter out there. Actually getting after the quarterback consistently. I know other guys can. They'll be good stopping a run. They got playmakers out there as well. Offensively, pretty good last year, even though they didn't make the playoffs. They started off a little slow. They have the weapons. Cousins got going. He had a very good second half of the year last year. It's just the offensive line. The offensive line I thought could be better. I'm falling out of my seat. I thought it could be better going into this year based on what they drafted, but looking at what was going on in camp, it actually could be worse, even though it's planned to be better in the future. I could agree with that. So they could have some growing pains with that offensive line still. And they got to stay healthy. They were pretty beat up last year. 17, I'm going to go with the Colts. Another team that's got to stay healthy. I think they've kind of went down a little bit based on who's getting hurt. I didn't really trust Carson Wentz a whole bunch before. You start to trust him less, but he's supposed to be good to go here. It's definitely their identity is run first team. They'll be able to pound the ball pretty effectively. Can Carson Wentz stay consistent in the passing game? Defensively, they stopped the run at a high level. They're very well coached, very well disciplined. They were probably the number one defense for a bit last year. And then that versus the second half of the year, really nowhere near the same. Teams kind of started to figure them out. So, that's kind of tough with the Colts. What Carson Wentz are we going to get? What defense? I still trust the defense to be pretty solid. Which one are we going to get? They're going to change up the scheme. They were very heavy cover 2 last year. You can't be predictable again. But they got talent all over that defense for sure. Somebody's got to step up in terms of the pass rush, though. I think Kwity Paye can do that. Big Kwity Paye fan, but they're losing Justin Houston, losing Danico Autry. Kwity Paye and others are going to have to step up because pass rush is that important. Curious to see how those questions that we have unfold there. 16 will go with the Steelers, kind of coming back up on them, went pretty far down in the offseason because you worry about the offensive line at the end of the day. They develop and they coach well there, so it's going to be better than what it looks like on paper. I still worry about pass protection, though. Run blocking, it actually will be better. Running game will be better with Najee Harris. He'll be a weapon. They'll give him the ball in the passing game as well. Can they get things going downfield? I still think Big Ben has touch on the ball downfield. It just, can they actually get it going? Can they put it on the field? Defensively, they'll be very solid, very good defense there as well. Tough division. Let's see if they're any different, than they were last year. And which Steelers team will it be? The best team in football most of the season last year, or that team that didn't really look like a playoff team at all in the second half of the year? Pretty big difference there. So I know injuries played a part. Bud Dupree, but he's not there anymore either. But I'm still not worried about the defense. So we'll see where they're at. Interesting team. 15 going to go Washington football team, and I did predict Washington football team to win a division. But these power rankings, week 1, it's how I rank you right now, where I think you are right now in top 15, top half of the league. Definitely think they're good. I had them predicted as the best defense in football. Will they look like that right away? That's kind of up. I think they could for sure. Offense, Fitzpatrick a little inconsistent in the past, but has that big playability. They should be better in that category. Pass protection, I worry about a little bit. Huge Antonio Gibson guy. Love what they did to their receiver unit, McLaurin, De'Ami Brown, etc. But it's all about that defense. That pass rush will win games alone. So really looking forward to watching this team who actually made, they put up a fight with the Bucs in the playoffs there. 14, Chargers. Love how that worked out too, because it is 14 versus 15 in week 1. Chargers watch. That's a game. That's a goddamn ball game right there. We got pure offense of the Chargers. Their defense can be sneaky as well versus pure defense in Washington. It's gonna be fun. See how that happens week 1. It's more of an offensive league, but Chargers, new coaching staff. They sat guys in preseason, so kind of offsets. It's going to be a real good game. Chargers, though, man, it's an interesting team. There are major questions. The reasons maybe they won't be good. New coaching staff, there's a change of the system. affect Justin Herbert in his sophomore season. Offensive line, do they have some growing pains? Defensively, maybe they could use some more pass rush. So those are the reasons why they're not good, why they could be very good. Justin Herbert was fantastic last year. He can continue to get better. They lost games because of coaching decisions. They got better in terms of the coaching staff. Their offensive line technically got better. They have the weapons. Eckler's back healthy. Defense, they got a great defensive mind. They got playmakers, guys that get their hands on the ball everywhere. Those are bigger than the negatives. So I like the Chargers here. They've really been rising up my board here. So just got to put it all together there. So we'll see. 13 Cowboys. Yeah, like I said, I had Washington winning a tough one, toss-up one. Had Washington winning the division. And that was because I love Washington's defense and how that unfolds throughout the year. I think their schedule is a little better as it unfolds throughout the year. And Cowboys, very hard to trust them to stay healthy. But as we sit right now, I know Zach Martin will be out of the game. We'll see what happens with Leo Collins. But as of right now, they look pretty strong. Dak's in there, even though he's got that shoulder situation. Amari Cooper's going to be in there. The defense is healthy. Diggs went down. A couple guys went down last year. So right now, it's an explosive offense. Very, very explosive. And the defense got better, especially with a better defense coordinator, Dan Quinn. So right now, I actually really like the Cowboys. Stay healthy. You will make the playoffs. That's for sure. And you keep winning, you're going to go up the ranks. That's how it works. 12, I'm going to go with the Saints. Saints are tough to rank here because where they sit right now, no Michael Thomas, no David Onyemata, some new faces starting for them, and then you look at Jameis Winston's a big one. So that'd be a reason to not put them too high in the power rankings, but I definitely moved them up for me because I like the idea. I mean, they're just so well coached, so well disciplined, both sides of the ball. They develop players better than really, you could argue better than anybody. They make them better. I like the idea of this new Jameis Winston and this Saints offense, a new Saints offense. They got a great offensive line. They still got weapons, even though some are missing. Just a disciplined team here. So I think they'll be, if it's like kind of predictions, end of the season, slightly higher than 12 than where we sit right now going to week 1. But as you can tell, the Saints are growing on me. And then we got 11. I got the Seahawks. And my playoff predictions recently came up. Actually, the Saints 6. Seahawks 7. But right now we have the Seahawks sitting above them for the reasons I kind of explained with the Saints. Seahawks, very good team. We'll see how they are, though, because worst defense and best offense early last year. Pretty good defense and bad offense end of last year. Weird. What are we going to get? Think we get more of passing attack. I think it's more offense than defense. It has to be, this year. So some questions to be answered. Got to stay healthy for sure. But right now looking like a pretty solid team. But consistent pass rush and consistent coverage in the secondary are things you worry about a little bit. Maybe offensive line play, but it usually kind of tends to be a factor later in the year. 10, we're going to go with the Patriots. Love this Patriots roster. Yes, they have a rookie quarterback leading the way. I think Mac Jones is the most pro-ready out of the bunch. Doesn't mean he's the best, but the most pro-ready. He'll still have his rookie mistakes sometimes. It's all right, but they improved the offensive line. They improved the weapons, receiver, tight end. They'll run the ball very effectively. We know that. Good group led by Damian Harris. Defensively, they improved the interior defensive line. They got some opt-outs back. They got Cal Van Noy back, improved the linebackers. The young pass rushers should be getting better on top of adding Matthew John. Secondary, I'd probably not too much different than last year. Gilmore out for 6 weeks, but then he'll be back, so then it should be better. Hopefully he's back. So I really like this Patriots roster. Will they have a passing game explosive? They can. They will. But as much as some of the other top-tier teams we'll see, but a very, very balanced, well-coached team there. And then for number 9, I got the 49ers. Talk about well-coached team right here. Love me some Shanahan. Like the idea of the two-quarterback system really going to throw teams off. Their offense, their play calling, their system already throws teams off, so you throw that in. It's interesting. And last year, they were able to put up fights with Nick Mullins and a depleted defense. I put up fight against teams in that way with those guys. So now you got Garoppolo back. You have Trey Lance in there. You got Mostert back, but now you got Sermon, a couple other running backs. I guess the offensive line, Trent Williams full go. That offensive line is looking pretty solid. My concern is the receivers. That duo is nasty. You throw in a trio with George Kittle, if you want to include tight end, it is one of the best in football. It's nasty. So why the hell does the receiver unit worry you? Health, I suppose, in depth. After that, they really got nothing. Can Kittle stay healthy? Can Deebo Samuel stay healthy? Is it going to be Ayuk all by himself? That's what I worry about. The depth is pretty rough. I need them to go out and sign a receiver. Actually, I'm going to need them to go ahead and do that. They can make the Super Bowl if they go ahead and do that and they stay healthy. Defense, so much rotation, so much depth. The front seven's ridiculous. They got pass rush. They stop the run. Watch out for a guy like Javon Kinlaw to step up. D Ford stays healthy. People forget he's nasty. Nick Bosa's back. the secondary solid. It's just the front seven is the best part, which is the way to do it, So Niners really growing on me as well. 8, I'm going to go Ravens. They're pretty damn beat up right now, so it's tough to rank them any higher than this, but it shows how good they are. They're that beat up, and they're down here. They need to get better at receiver, but their new first-round pick, Rashad Bateman, who I think could be their best receiver, is hurt. Other guys are a little beat up. Running back unit a little beat up, but I think Gus Bus will be fine. Lamar Jackson is just one of the most overall valuable, talented players in football. Very hard to stop. It's a well-coached, well-disciplined team. The defense is hard to play against as well. Defense could be better. It actually could be better, believe it or not. So I got them at 8. They get healthy. They'll climb up as they win games. It's a tough team to play no matter what here. Next up, 7, I got the Browns. Are pretty much, in a battle with the Ravens for that division. Very complete roster, and they actually added to the secondary of their team. I love that. They added some speed as well. Going against the Chiefs week 1, it's going to be a hell of a ball game. They have that offensive line. If Baker improves, they can take that next step. It's just not about kind of getting figured out. Sometimes the first-year coach, the second year, their system starts to get figured out a little bit, but it seemed to get better as the year went on, and it's just a talented team overall. Odell back, so I do like that. 6, I like the Titans. I like what they did with this roster. It's already a dominant regular season team. You got to deal with Derrick Henry every week, so it's a sure thing, really good regular season team. You had Julio Jones, more passing game, but it actually could open things up for Derrick Henry. That Taylor Lewan back healthy. Another year with Tannehill in the mold there. So that all looks good. Will they miss Jonnu Smith? I guess that's the only question of the offense. I don't, they had Julio, so I don't know if they'll miss Corey Davis. And then defensively, they got a lot better. 2 new corners. You had Bud Dupree. You had Danico Autry. Jeffrey Simmons is getting better. Jayon Brown comes back healthy. You kind of can just change up how you run your defense in general. So I really like this Titans roster. They're built for the regular season. Can they get over the hump in the playoffs? Sure, they can, but that's what they got to prove to us. 5, I'm going to go Packers. Missing Bakhtiari to start the year, so that's a little tough. That kind of factored in when you got to split hairs with these top-tier teams. I had them going to the Super Bowl. My playoff predictions, spoilers, recently up, but this is not playoff Super Bowl predictions here. This is how they sit right now. A top 5 team. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, that group would be amazing. Still in the offense line would be solid, but missing Bakhtiari, playing some tough teams early, could show a little bit. Game like the Niners, I believe that's week 3, pretty tough. Not that they're guaranteed to lose or anything like that. Defense actually could be better. Hopefully a better coaching staff. I guess that's the question, how they call the defense. But they got studs everywhere. Kenny Clark inside, the pass rushers, the edge rushers, love me some Zadarius Smith. They had Devondre Campbell in the linebacker unit. Secondary should be getting better. Guys like Jair Alexander, Darnell Savage getting better on top of having a veteran Adrian Amos. So it's a pretty damn good team across the board, why they're top 5. 4, I got the Bills here. Explosive offense, extremely hard to stop, especially in the regular season. They're throwing all that at you. It's very hard to game plan for. Teams will try to game plan for the pass. Easier said than done to actually stop it. Defensively, it looks really good on paper, but they got to put it together. I expect it to be a lot better than it was last year. Even though it was still solid, I expect it to be a lot better. They give up yards, they give up chunk plays. They show up and make plays at the right moment. They struggled to get the quarterback down last year. They could improve that with a lot of those young pass rushers stepping up, perhaps. So got the offensive line back together. I like that. Hopefully incorporate a little more run game. Still need to be a pass-first team. Will Josh Allen grow? Will him and Diggs actually grow further in another year? Pretty ridiculous to think about. I get the Rams at 3. Feels like, as we sit healthy besides Cam Akers, that's a dangerous, damn good team. Matthew Stafford full go. System, that play calling of Sean McVay, going to be extremely hard to stop with a very good quarterback back there. Now it's going to be times where they, it's going to feel like they can do whatever they want to do to you. That's what it's going to feel like. Run game, pass game. Offensive line played great early last year. I didn't think it played so hot late last year. Whitworth kind of being affected. He did, come back, so maybe just in general that all got affected that way. Defensively, it should be good. They did lose some guys, but I think they got good enough guys to step up. We'll see without Brandon Staley, but this is a dominant team as we sit. The reason they wouldn't go the distance would be, getting injured. Stafford's sometimes not fully healthy at the end of the year, but right now I got them at 3. I got the Chiefs at 2, and I got the Bucs at 1. What I like to do is have the Super Bowl winning team start at 1 every single year, unless they kind of just tear down their team for some reason. Have we ever seen that in the NFL? We've seen it in basketball. After they win a Super Bowl, for the NFL, I don't think so. And it's also the most talented roster right now. It's the team to beat. So I got the Buccaneers 1. The Chiefs, that elite offense, best offensive football, improve the offense line, should be able to run the ball more effectively, which can open things up. Scary thought. Question of Frank Clark. Will he be able to play the full year? Will there be a suspension? Chris Jones going to do some unique things this year. Really excited about that. Corners, they don't look so hot on paper, but they're better than what they look like on paper. Some people doubting them a little bit. So how will the defense play? Another one of those defenses, the Chiefs, where they're going to probably give up some yards, but they make plays when the time is right. Very well coached. Spagnuolo, drawing up the blitzes at times. So could argue the Chiefs are the team that was it. Bucs team to beat in the NFC, Chiefs team to beat in the AFC. That's my power rankings to start the year. Again, this isn't end of the year predictions. It's not Super Bowl odds. It's just how they sit right now. If you win, you get hot, you will go up. If you were looking good while doing it, beating good teams while doing it, you'll go up even further. If you lose, you look bad, you go down. It is that simple. It's that simple. If the Lions continue to win, I have no problem to put them, eventually put them at 1. I'm not going to be stubborn and keep teams in the same spot. Once again, shout out to our new sponsors at BetQL. It's if you like betting on any sports, any games, it's definitely the way to go. They have the best insights. They give you everything. I'm telling you, I signed up, checked out the site. They give you anything you need to make that sure thing bet. Actually went back, looked at their bets last week for college football. Outstanding information on there. Any link that you need is in the description. Use code GOAT, 25% off. That'd be pretty important. They also have a special offer for BetMGM, and that if you sign up there with a special offer, you'll get a free year of BetQL. So a lot going on there, and it's a lot of helpful stuff. Just worth checking into for sure. All that info, description of these videos. Follow us on Twitter for I'm answering questions pretty much instantly on there, but a constant NFL talking during live games. Everything you need, Picks League on that Twitter, link down below for that, pinned in the comments. Subscribe, turn notifications on, all that much, much appreciated. It's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.